There's always a subtext in the work that means the most to me. And the subtext is that there's this paradoxical conflict between humans and nature. We, it seems to me, in the United States, have not figured out a comfortable way to look at nature. We either over-romanticize it or we tend to be dismissive of it, saying that it's something we should exploit, we should be indifferent to, and so forth. We really need to find a balance that we can live with in between those two polarities, because at this point, nature is part of us and we are part of nature. There's no separating the two. And until we find a better balance and dialectic between us, we'll never do the right things, it seems to me. For 150 years since photography was invented, photographers have been going to the bottom of the big tree and standing up and looking at it and going, okay, that's my picture. I'm standing up and I'm looking at this big tree. I thought, no, we're not doing it that way. There has to be something else. But for several years, I didn't know what the something else was. Then one day I finally decided, no, I just have to go out there and see. And I figured, well, maybe if I can find some guys who know how to climb up in these trees, what the techniques and technology are, by wandering around up there, we'll see something interesting and it'll catalyze some idea in my head. Maybe the signature style in the tree work is this notion of a photo mosaic, that instead of photographing a tree in just one frame, I photographed it in many, many frames and pieced it together to create a never-before-seen view of the tree. Where does that come from? I suppose as much as anything, it came from just this stubborn refusal to accept the normal ways of photographing those subjects. The technique that I eventually developed over about 3 years of trial and error and experimentation was we would climb the trees and shoot a line across from the top of one tree to the top of another tree, slide out on that rope, slide out on the line that's strung between the two treetops, and then drop another rope to the ground. And that other rope was standing out in the open space between the trees. So I would slide down that rope, I would rappel down the rope and stop every so often. And I would photograph the tree from left to right at that particular section. So I had just a straight profile of that section of the tree. Then I would rappel down some more, photograph it again, rappel down some more, photograph it again, all the way until I covered the whole tree. Then you take those pictures and you spend weeks and weeks and weeks sitting at the computer reassembling this mosaic of what the tree actually looks like. I'm trying to get at a feeling of tension. It's implicit. If you make it explicit, it hits you over the head too hard. But there's an implicit tension between the human environment, the made environment, and the natural environment. And I think it's important to walk that line and be in a space of some tension and some uncertainty and some questioning in the picture, to be asking about the relationship and how we see the nature around us, how we conceive of ourselves in nature. If you don't do that, you're just pushing pretty pictures back into society. You're saying the same thing that everybody already knows. And I want to challenge us to, reach further and think bigger and think differently and move forward.